What's the message?
Jesus died on that cross so we could live, and this is not living.
Amen. I respect that.
President Trump, as a longtime supporter of your mission and to make America great again, I want to be a part of that with you. But we e-commerce companies all across the United States, we need more time. Give us a 90-day off-ramp to get off of our China goods and just tell us the plan. If you tell us the plan, we can operate and we can know what to do. The hard part about everything that's happening right now is we're trying to manage our business from day to day, and that's very difficult. And a lot of small businesses, they don't have the cash flow to get through a 90-day negotiation, and it's going to devastate a lot of businesses like Cuts. You know, I'm in a group chat with $1 billion worth of small businesses, and there's several in there that are telling me, hey, Stephen, 30 days or 60 days, we might not be able to make it. There's been too many adjustments to the supply chain that are just being really devastating on our business. 145% is essentially an embargo, and by cutting off our products to be able to sell them, it's going to be really difficult.
Gerard Bad works making Mack trucks here in Pennsylvania. He thinks he may lose that job in part because of the policies of the president he voted for, Donald Trump.
It's with a wife and 3 kids, it's very stressful that I'm going to be out of work in the near future. It's the uncertainty that really gets to me. Donald Trump could have had a little bit more finesse instead of using like a blanket policy over everything.
Well, here we go with another fuck around and find out. My guy here works for Mack Truck, which means he is a UAW employee. He is a union worker that voted for an anti-union, anti-worker administration. And now he's fucking surprised he might be out of work. Now it goes on to say they're going to lay off between 250 and 350 people. His seniority number is 205. He said, if I can get over 350, that would be perfect. Showing no sympathy for the people below him that will get laid off. Sounds exactly like a Trump voter. And then despite the fact this man might lose his job, says, I give Donald Trump a B+ for how he's doing. Now I hope you don't get laid off, and not for your sake, for your kids' sake, and for the other union employees that would also get laid off. I hope it doesn't happen. Donald Trump could take everything from these people. He could leave them homeless, penniless, and hungry in the gutter with their family, and ask to grade the administration B+.
When this one.
Hey guys, on the first video that we saw, the lady living, she was homeless living in a tent, and she said that she voted for Trump because she thought that her situation was going to change voting for this guy, but he haven't changed at all. And instead of people, you know, homeless people getting, you know, housings, it's the opposite. Some people, they're losing their houses, they're losing their jobs. So it's the opposite. A lot of people, they're going to end up on the street. And the lady, she was hoping that she was going to get some type of housing and better her situation, but it's not working. It's not working for a lot of people.
Woman, a longtime resident of Kennett, a woman who goes by Carol, a waitress at the local diner, a mother to 3 kids, an active member of the local church. When Carol got arrested by ICE earlier this week, the residents were shocked. One resident telling the New York Times, quote, I voted for Donald Trump, and so did practically everyone here, but no one voted to deport moms. We were all under the impression we were just getting rid of the gangs, the people who came here in droves.
I'm sorry, small town white America, but yes, you did. You absolutely did vote for this. When you voted for Donald Trump, and indeed when you held up the signs at all the rallies saying mass deportations now, you are voting for exactly this kind of action. And before you start saying things like, oh, well, they didn't know, the information in the media wasn't very good at it, and they're single issue voters anyway, so what? Ignorance in this instance is not an excuse. Indeed, ignorance in this instance is complicity. They knew exactly what Donald Trump was like. He'd been in power before. He just didn't have the machinery of government to carry out what he said he wanted to carry out. Now they do, And he is. It's all part of the white supremacist Project 2025 agenda, of which small town America is a part. And you would probably vote for it again, given the chance. Suffering the consequences of your actions is what happens when you vote for fascists. It's always been the case, and it always will be. I don't know what line of that First Day Came For poem we're on line 4 or 5 now. But there is no excuse for the kind of ignorance to say that we didn't vote for this, because you absolutely did.
I'm a supporter.
So like this guy was saying, a lot of people, they said, no, I didn't vote for this, but you did vote for this, because he said it over and over throughout his campaign that he was going to do mass deportation. So in a way he lied. He said that he was going to deport only criminals and people, affiliated with guns and stuff like that. But that was a big lie, because right now they're going after everybody. It doesn't matter if you are a gang member or not. If you are illegal in the United States, they're going to deport you. Very sad what's going on, but that's what it is right now. That's what's going on with this administration. And like the guy was saying, I think they're trying to, this administration is trying to get rid of all the Hispanic, and they just want white people in the United States. Sorry to say that, but I think that's the truth.
Of President Donald Trump, voted for him in this election and the last, and the one prior to that. However, President Trump is about to allow JBS, the world's most corrupt beef organization, to become publicly traded in America. President Donald Trump will be the president that allows for the complete destruction of the small, independent family farms and cattle ranches if he allows this to go through.
Newsflash, Donald Trump does not give a damn about you. But you know who gives even less of a damn about you? Myself and all the other liberals you thought you were owning when you voted for Donald Trump. What we got for you is a bunch of middle fingers, man. We're like, fuck you. We don't care. We don't care if you lose your farm, bro. You voted for Donald Trump. You even said at the beginning of this video, I am a supporter of Donald Trump. Why the hell would we give a damn about your gripes? You're getting exactly what you voted for. I love when I see the memes and the conservatives out there saying, screw you liberals. This is exactly what I voted for. This is exactly what you voted for. I don't know why you're making this video. This should be a thank you video, because this is what you voted for.
The SEC has already approved it. Now we're just waiting a mere few days for them to allow it on the stock exchange. And what's concerning is we haven't heard a word from the Secretary of Agriculture about this. We haven't heard any of the large cattle organizations that represent cattlemen speak out about this. They claim to represent cattlemen. The truth is they only represent the big guys. They're bought and paid for by the same organizations, JBS, Cargill, Tyson, National Beef, all the collusion that's happening. Go do a very simple search and you'll see the millions and millions and tens upon millions of dollars that these companies have been ordered to pay for collusion and price fixing, which has cost us our family farms and ranches. And what that costs us as the people who aren't family farms and ranches is a stable food system. As much as I'm a supporter of many of the other things that Trump is doing.
And there you have it. He's a supporter of many of the things Donald Trump is doing. And what he's talking about there is the hate and the bigotry. You see, he came for the bigotry. He came for the deportations. He came for the hate against the gay and trans community. But what he's getting out of it is possibly losing his farm.
Okay, let's go through some more of these Trump voter regrets. This time, oh, Jay. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I believe that he and Elon Musk have done some good things. But when he devastates the entire federal government contractor workforce because Elon thinks every program is not essential, that is wrong. What happened to cutting the waste? See, you can hear it right there. He's trying to hold on. He still wants to believe they meant well, but the cracks are showing. Okay, 4 days later, April 5th. If Donald Trump or any of the GOP thinks I will vote for you after being laid off from a job I loved with the FAA and spent 26 years doing, you are wrong. It won't be long before the foreclosure rates pick up because of Trump and Elon Musk. And just like that, the support turns to betrayal. 26 years in a job, gone. See, now it's personal to him. A day later, April 6th. Dude, when you work hard at a job for 26 years and Doge and Elon Musk think FAA is not essential, your entire team gets laid off, then you'll understand why people are mad. I voted to stop waste, not destroy the federal workforce. And that's the line right there. I voted to stop waste, not destroy the federal workforce. But that's exactly what happened when you hand the keys to billionaires who don't believe in government. They don't clean it up, they burn it down. Jay gave decades of his life to public service. He trusted that Trump and Elon were just going to trim the fat. Instead, they torched the whole system and they took him down with it. This is something the left was warning people about, screaming at anyone who would listen, but not Jay. Jay knew better, or at least he thought he did. And this is what happens when you vote for people who don't believe in what you do for a living. They don't just cut waste, they cut you.
But work is already slowing.
I can't say I'm going to make it through the end of December, November if this continues.
Let's talk about the farmer that we saw on the past video. He said it, he supported Trump many times. He voted for Trump many times, and now he's crying about it, that he's gonna lose his family farm. Not only him, there is a lot other farmers too that they going through the same situation. Pretty much they already lost their farm because the government said that they were gonna get like some type of loan to help them, grow their farm. But at the end, they told them, no, you're not gonna get no money. And now that was the plan. The government, they just want to take over those family farm, and they just gonna buy it cheap. The big guys, with a lot of money, they just gonna get those farm for cheap, and that's what you get. I'm sorry to say that, but you voted for this, and that's what you're getting.
Helen and her husband are both drivers and have seen their shifts slashed.
We're barely surviving, and the fact that we are not going to have any income coming in, in my case, 2 incomes that are not going to come in. How are we going to survive?
Are you scared about what the next month holds?
I'm scared for the next 2 weeks. Let me.
Here's another one. She's regretting.
Because next 2 weeks, I'm going to see where this is going.
Presumably, a lot of these truckers voted for Donald Trump.
What the funny part is, people are now becoming ashamed to even say it. They voted for him because there's that stigma like, what were you thinking?
Exactly. What were you thinking? What were you thinking when you voted for this guy? But it is what it is. We are in this situation together. The only way we can, do something is sticking together. And that's the only way. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up. It helps grow the channel, and I really appreciate your support, and see you guys in the next video. Thank you, and bye bye.